Hello, all. I am your host, Rodimus Prime. It is Thursday, June 9th, 2022, and today I'm going to be giving my review and my recap of episode 3 of Kenobi. As I will be discussing story, there is going to be some spoilers, so be aware of that. But go ahead, sit back and relax, and here is my review and recap of episode 3 of Kenobi. Each episode has added another piece in the story, and the third episode was no different. The episode starts with Obi-Wan reaching out to Qui-Gon, and we get a really good sequence featuring Vader suiting up and Obi-Wan hearing lines from the past in his head, signaling the creation of Vader. This is a perfect example of how to redeem a character and the actor portraying them. They were able to make Vader powerful and menacing without having to do very much. Vader reaches out to the third sister and says that the Grand Inquisitor meant nothing, and that if she found and brought Kenobi to him, that she would be the new Grand Inquisitor. One thing that really stands out to me as a focal point of this episode in terms of emotion is they show how obsessed Vader is with Obi-Wan. Throughout the entirety of the episode, his mind is focused on one thing, and that is locating Obi-Wan, and I can really appreciate that. Also, once again, and through the first 3 episodes, the music score has delivered. It delivered at the right points, at the right times, gave the right emotion throughout the entirety of the episode, and added real weight and gravity to each situation that was shown throughout this episode. Then there was a cool scene shown where Leia asks Obi-Wan how the Force works and how it feels, and Obi-Wan replies with, "How does it feel when you turn on the light?" Leia then replies with, "It feels safe," to which Obi-Wan replies, "It feels like that." I thought it was a very simple way to explain the Force that most people would be able to understand. At this point in the episode, Leia and Ben land on a planet controlled by the Empire, and Obi-Wan is definitely troubled by the news of Vader being alive, even seeing visions of Anakin in front of him even though he's not there. The Empire sends out probes to hunt for Obi-Wan, and it is at this point that Leia and Ben meet Freck, an alien who runs an Empire transport service. While traveling with Freck, he stops to pick up some stormtroopers on their ride. One thing that was a very small, minute detail, but I definitely noticed that they did, was the detail and look of the stormtroopers. They were dirty, they were grimy, the armor that they were wearing looked extremely sweaty. It actually legit felt like they had been out in the desert looking for a Jedi, and as a fan, I really appreciated that small detail. After some entanglements at a blockade, Leia and Ben meet Tala, a mole officer in the Empire who is going to escort them to safety. Another thing I picked up on throughout this show so far, and that I harken back to through the movies, is Leia's attitude towards droids seems to have diminished. When she's younger, she wants droids to talk and feel, and she wants to learn more about them and ask a lot of questions about them. In her portrayals in the older movies, it feels like she does a lot of complaining about R2-D2 and is constantly trash talking C-3PO. So maybe she's dampened a little bit on droids as she's gotten older, but when she's younger, she's definitely wanting to learn more about them. Also, don't mess with loader droids. They're big, they're beefy, and they carry huge freaking hammers. As Ben and Leia are getting ready to leave, Ben looks like the weight of everything is upon him, which signals the arrival of Vader. This is how Vader should be portrayed. He is menacing, powerful, terrifying, remorseless, and we get a true scope of his power as with just the flick of a wrist, he snaps someone's neck, killing them instantly. A little dampener on the episode, it was during this sequence when Vader made his arrival and he was showing off his abilities that I found myself wondering, how was Obi-Wan not seen? During a portion of this where Vader is showing off his abilities, Obi-Wan actually goes out into this alleyway and is standing under what is a light fixture that is showing him clearly in the distance. There are 30 Imperial guards / stormtroopers in this small alley, as well as Vader looking for Obi-Wan, relentlessly throwing people to the side and objects. So you're telling me that these 30 plus people and Darth Vader couldn't see Obi-Wan in this small alley? I have a hard time believing that. Regardless of my nitpicking, we then see Obi-Wan running through the darkness, and suddenly the red of Vader's lightsaber pierces through, revealing him to Obi-Wan. In their confrontation, Obi-Wan is outclassed, outpowered, and outmatched. For most of the fight, Vader is only using one hand. When all hope seems lost, Tala comes to Obi-Wan's rescue, and we see Vader watching on, unmoving, knowing that he is not done with Obi-Wan. We then cut back to Leia, who is on the way to meet her escort to Alderaan when she encounters the third sister. Leia then runs away, the third sister chases after her, and the episode cuts to black. Hands down, this was definitely my favorite episode so far. The way Vader was portrayed was perfect, and this was a prime example of how to not only redeem a character, but redeem an actor. This redeemed fully Hayden Christensen. If you look at his interviews throughout the process of filming this, he seems happy, he seems relieved, and it seems like he's had like a huge weight taken off of his shoulders. From beginning to end of this episode, I was fully invested and can't wait to see the next confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader. All in all, this episode gets a 9.8 out of 10, and that's only being docked for small story flaws. But alright guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. As always, the opinions stated in this video are my own, so you don't gotta agree with them, but I appreciate you sitting through the entirety of the video, and if you could do me one small favor before you leave. If you could please like the video and subscribe, I would really appreciate that, and as always, I will see you all tomorrow.